Hello and welcome to Treasure in Every Verse. I'm your host, author and Bible teacher Kevin Madison. Thank you for joining us today. Okay, friends, we're back. And tonight, what I want to do essentially is just give you an overview of the remainder of chapter one before we jump into the churches and do that in depth study on the churches. So, I want to show you several things, okay? One is going to be the entire outline of God's program because that's really what the book of Revelation is, okay? It takes in and encompasses everything that God has said, starting from Genesis all the way to the end. And then what it does, it begins to break down several of the ages, especially the day of the Lord, as was prophesied in the Old Testament by the prophets. So we had wrapped up this part here where Jesus was talking about what he did and how he loved us and gave himself for us. It took a little longer than what I expected, but that's okay. We got a deep, deep meaning of the new birth there. And then we seen this. And I told you about this, and I'm just going to briefly hit on it until we get to the end. And then I'm going to go into some historical stuff to help set the foundation for when we get to the churches next time. Behold, he is coming with the clouds. Where did you see that at? All right. And then again, look, when you read this, you have to understand a lot of the stuff is coming from the Old Testament. It says, behold, he's coming with clouds. Let me show you something. Watch this. First person to mention this was Daniel. And you got to ask yourself, clouds? Yeah, clouds. So let me show you this. Right here. Seventh, yeah. Now look at what Daniel says here. Now he's talking about the Lord Jesus, folks. Daniel's talking about the Lord Jesus. So remember in the New Testament and in the Old Testament, Jesus himself said, no one, absolutely positively no one has ever seen God. God, yes, the Spirit of God. Why not? Because he's invisible. When you get to heaven, friends, you're not going to see the person all of us pray to called the Father. Why not? Because the Father is invisible. He's invisible. He is spirit. Just like you can't see yourself, you are invisible. The only way you can see yourself is that God give you a visible part, your body. God has a visible part, his own body. So he made you like himself. Okay, I watched till thrones were put in place. Now listen, what is he talking about? This is before or prior to creation. Nope, 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 nope. I'm backwards here. This right here, sorry, this right here is the judgment seat. This is the judgment at the end of the age. So this is the judgment seat or the great white throne. That's what you see. Great white throne judgment. All right. But I want to show you this description. We're put in place. And the ancient of days was seated. Wait a minute, man. Hold up. Time out. Can a spirit sit? And if he can, how in the world did Daniel see him seated? He can't. Even if God, the spirit, was sitting, there was no way for Daniel to know that. So what had to happen? The ancient of days had to be visible. Friends, he had to be visible. So who did Daniel see? Friend, he seen the Lord Jesus Christ. That's who he saw. His garment. Now, a spirit cannot wear clothes. It was white. So that means Daniel seen it. His hair, a spirit doesn't have hair, was like pure wool. His throne was a, listen, fiery flame. And his wheels, that is his legs, lower portion, a burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him, and thousands ministered to him. Okay, now, you see that right there? Daniel gives a description. Hold that thought in your mind. We come down here, and you can see right here the books are court were seated, the books are open. That's the judgment. Now look, right here. He goes on and he's talking about this is at the end of the tribulation. This is basically in chapter 19 of Revelation. I watched then because of the sound of the pompous words which the horn, the beast, Antichrist, was speaking. I watched till the beast was slain and its body destroyed and given to the burning fire, the lake of fire. As for the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, meaning that the empires of Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Persia, Greece, and Rome, and the confederacy that the 10-nation confederacy of the beasts, they were all destroyed before the beast was destroyed. Yet their lives were prolonged for a season of time, talking about the tribulation. Now, here's the second portion that I want you to see. I was watching again. This is a separate vision. This one right here is prior to creation. God now is showing you the coronation of his body in heaven. His body in heaven? Yes. Where was the first sacrifice? Where was the first sacrifice? That's what you need to ask yourself. Remember the 3 parts, right? Heaven right here, single, heavens in 3 parts. So 3 parts, and then you have the earth. What was the first sacrifice of Jesus Christ conducted? Right here. In heaven, before God created anything. Kevin, where in the world you get that from? I got it out of the book. Go look at Romans chapter 3. Start at verse 21, read to the end. God explains that himself. He explains this right here in Romans 3. All right. So he was watching in the night visions. Why? Because there was no light back under. There was only light in. He had to go back in eternity past. That's what the night visions is really talking about. And behold, one and only one, like the Son of Man. This now is making a reference to the person who was talking over in Proverbs chapter 8. The person was called wisdom. What did wisdom say? I was possessed. That's what Proverbs 8 said. Who was possessed? Him. God sacrificed him, his own self, then possessed the resurrected body. And after that, he spoke everything else into existence. Now watch. What was he doing? He was coming somewhere with the clouds of heaven. See, what in the world did that look like? I'm going to show you in just a minute. He, that is the Son of Man, did something. He came to the Ancient of Days. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Talking about, folks, is this passage teaching that there are 2 gods? No. No. It's just explaining to you what God did before creation. You have to remember that God is an eternal God. Okay? He can do anything. So what did the Ancient of Days that we seen in the verses above? Who was he? He was Christ. This is Christ, the Ancient of Days. Christ is not mortal. Christ is spiritual. Christ never had blood. This he is Jesus, the man. He had blood. He's talking about himself. He's talking about when he, let me help you.